June 2025. Wowzer. I'm not even going to say it because I feel like I start every video out with, where's the time going? I'm sick. In case you can't tell, I feel like I really hear it when I'm speaking, but I think maybe watching it back it won't be as obvious, but I am quite sick, which is why it took so long for me to get this video out, and I'm kind of just now starting to feel a little back to normal, which is nice, but I'm still so congested. I've never blown my nose so much in my entire life. Of course, June, and I am sick, but I went on a trip and I think that's what did it. Airplanes, airports, all that jazz, sightseeing areas. I'm sure that's what did it. So we'll get into June and we're going to talk about memories and experiences, books that I read, purchases that I made, and then tarot practices. And all of that will be in the description box below in case there's anything you want to skip. I do have a little itty bitty vlog about my trip, so that'll be in the memories and experiences. But let's get started. So first things first, I went to a little market about an hour north of my house. This feels like it was so long ago. Like, I can't believe the beginning of June was really only like 35 days ago, but it feels like this was 2 months ago. So the Sisters of Elderwood Grove put on this market, and there's several of them to come for the year. And I think they did the same thing last year where they have themes. So the one I went to, of course I had to go to this, was the practical magic themed mystical market. So naturally I went. I think there's a Lion Witch in the Wardrobe one coming up, and then in October there is a Harry Potter one coming up. So I really want to go to the Harry Potter one, but I might have some scheduling conflicts and I really hope that I don't. But it was about an hour's drive north of me. So it is, the Instagram handle for the people that put it on is at the Scrying Witch and at Elderwood Farm Sanctuary. So there was a bit of a cold snap on this particular day. It was freezing. I could not believe this was June and it was so cold. I wanted mitts and a hat. I'm not even exaggerating. It was very, very cold, which actually kind of seems to be a theme for events that happened in the month of June. But so we show up and it's a very small rural area. I was kind of surprised at how tiny it was. Parking made me panic. It gave me anxiety. It usually does. So this situation made it so much worse. But it was just so cold, and I feel like the temperature really trumped the experience of it. But you walk around and there's all these cute little displays kind of incorporating the practical magic theme. I think they should have had some practical magic theme song music playing. They did not. Fine, that's just me being picky. And there was just markets. There was crystals, there was a tarot reading tent, which I did not do. There was candles, there was all kinds of stuff. So I didn't buy anything at this market, but it's not because I didn't want to, it's because I was trying to save up for my trip. So the trip happened very last minute, and I was not expecting to be going on this trip in June. It was supposed to be later on in the year. So because of that, I was really trying hard not to spend money on anything, not to mention crystals, etc. So that market was super cute, and like I said, I hope I'll be able to go to the Harry Potter one. There's, of course, Murphy's Law. There's like 3 different things happening in that first week of October, one of which is a wedding that I have to stay in a hotel for, I have to go away for, so we'll see. Then I had a much needed girls' weekend with my friends. So nothing crazy to talk about here, just the fact that I feel like I hadn't seen these girls in a really long time. So it was really good for the soul to do this. We went up to a cottage and I did bring a tarot deck. I will talk more about it in the tarot practice section, but I brought the Millennial Tarot. And if you remember videos in the past where I'd said I was really looking forward to working with this deck with my friends because it's millennial based and really funny, I finally got to do that. So the readings were great. The messages from the deck were great, but the deck itself was not fun. I didn't enjoy it. And again, I will talk more about it in the tarot practice section of the video. And lastly, my trip. So I went to Alberta. It was the same group of girls that I went with in September of 2024. And we went to see the same person we went to see in September of 2024. My work mom moved away to Alberta when she retired. So her work daughters and I, which I'm one of, decided to go visit her in Alberta. So it was really nice to go see it in a warmer climate. However, it snowed. It snowed on the first day of summer on our trip to Alberta. Absolutely crazy. So I do have a little vlog, which I'll insert in a minute, but I forgot to pack a tarot deck. I can't believe I did this. It's not a huge deal because I find when I'm on these trips, even on girls' weekends, I always bring a deck and then I never end up using it. I'm always too tired, or there never feels like the right moment, or we're always drinking or whatever. But this time I really wanted to bring the gentle tarot because I know it's Alaska based, but very similar kind of vibe to Alberta in some areas. So I really wanted to bring that and connect with it, and I forgot. So I was really disappointed in myself, but I did use it this month, so that'll be in the tarot practice section as well. But yeah, my trip. Let's take a look at my beautiful trip to Alberta. So to start off the trip, we had a very late flight getting into Calgary. We didn't land until about midnight Calgary time, which would have been 2 a.m. my time. So we were pretty exhausted and obviously didn't do anything on the day that we arrived. But as you can see, I had the road to myself, which hardly ever happens. And free beer. Fantastic. With the world's best almonds I've ever had. And I watched Below Deck on my iPad. So it's a 4-hour flight, so I had to entertain myself for a couple more hours, but that's fine. And then day 2. We started off strong with the Banff Springs Hotel for a spa day. Now, because we were not guests of the hotel, you had to book a service to use the spa services. So you either have to be a guest of the hotel or book a spa service. So one of our friends did end up getting a spa service so that we could have access to the spa for the day. So while we waited for her to get her pedicure done, we hung out in this amazing bar and had the best drinks ever. It was so fantastic with free little treats. That's popcorn with seaweed seasoning, which sounds disgusting, but it was fantastic. And let me tell you, these drinks are strong. We got the Harmony, which is the one that has the rosemary sprig in it, and it had 3.5 ounces of alcohol in it, which we did not know when we ordered it. I had 2 of them. So I was feeling very, very great by the time our friend's pedicure was finished. But this is the best spa ever. These views, I have no words. This was a hot tub that we hung out in a couple of times. Fantastic. And this is kind of the main pool area where there's the hot cold plunge. So those pools with the waterfalls are all different temperatures. And then this main pool is a mineral pool. And then there's this hot tub, which we spent a lot of time in. We went back to it a couple of times. Amazing. And then this is the main pool, which we didn't go to. It was kind of chilly outside, and this main pool was very busy. I don't know what the temperature of it was, but it was incredibly busy. We found another hot tub that just looked so incredibly cool. But they have all these terraces that you can hang out on. You can have coffee. They have free snacks and coffees and teas and waters. You can go out on these terraces and just enjoy your snacks and your hot or cold drinks and look at these stunning views. It is incredible. So, of course, on the way home, I had to take a picture of the 3 sisters. This comes into play later, also comes into play in my purchases. Then on day 3, we did Johnston Canyon. We went early, and because we went early, a lot of these photos don't have people in it. So if you're going to do this is in Banff. If you're going to do this, definitely go early because the way out, there was massive lines. But it is a hike that has 7 different waterfalls in it. And you walk these paths that are very, very well maintained. They're not difficult to navigate. So if you're someone who has knee or hip or feet problems or whatever, this is an easy hike. It is an incline. You are hiking up, but the path is mostly what you see here. Very easy. You can go slow, you can go quick. It's up to you, but it is absolutely stunning. And like I said, definitely go early. There's 7 falls along the way. This particular one has a back kind of cave that you can go through. You can see it here on the right. There was a little bit of a line, as you can see, when we got there, but that was the amount of people that was there. This is the hole that you crawl through. It looks smaller, but you do have to crouch to get in it. So if you're claustrophobic, I don't recommend. But then when you get behind it, you do get wet. It's kind of like Niagara Falls. It's a little bit misty, but this is what you get to see when you go through that little hole, and it's worth it. I would definitely go. Everyone takes turns. People are waiting their turn, so you can't be there very long, but here's the line. By the time we left, that line had tripled in size, and we were still early. This was 9:14 in the morning, so we were still early. But it is a fantastic little hike. It's, I want to say, 3.7 kilometers one way. I think that's what we ended up with, but absolutely stunning. Like I said, 7 waterfalls along the way for you to stop and take photos of at your leisure. Nothing crazy. Here is one of the main ones. I think this is the last one along the way. And you can go to the top of this one. So you walk up a little further and go to the top. And this is the view that you're rewarded with. And if it's sunny like it was for us, you will see glorious rainbows. And we actually had a double rainbow for our day, which I think is pretty common. Here's a better photo of the double rainbow. Beautiful. You can go up further to do flower pots, ink pots, something like that, but we didn't have the patience to do that. So then on our way back, our host really wanted us to see a grizzly bear, and we had been scouring the sides of the road the whole time we were driving, did not see one. We have bears here in Ontario. We have black bears. We do not have brown bears or grizzly bears, which are a form of brown bear. So I really wanted to see one, and apparently they're everywhere. Didn't see one the last time I was there, but this time we were determined. So we went on a little bit of a journey to go on a bear hunt and stopped at all these places along the way. This is one of them, and it was Peter Lougheed Provincial Park. They just kind of have this center where there's taxidermied animals that were killed by vehicles or humanely killed or whatever. But just to give you an idea, this is the size of a grizzly bear paw print. And we're driving along, and our host was really disappointed. She was like, I had this intuitive feeling that we were going to see a bear today. I just knew it, and I don't know where they all are. And all of a sudden, on the side of the road, there she is. This was on the side of the road. I'm zoomed in on my camera, just so you know that we weren't actually this close. I am zoomed in, so don't get mad at me. But she was on the side of the road, just feasting on dandelions. And she was beautiful. I did look up the tag number on her ear. Nothing crazy, just said she's typically a shy bear and ignores humans for the most part. Not that that's saying you should approach her, but just that obviously she's not looking at us. Like, she's not bothered by us or paying us any attention. And a transport truck scared the little baby. The little baby was a bonus. I cannot believe we got to see this little bear cub. So cute and adorable. I loved him or her, not sure. And then on day 4, we did the Forget-Me-Not ponds in Bragg Creek. It was raining. You can see the rain in the water on this photo. It was cold and rainy, so we didn't stay there long. The Forget-Me-Not ponds are supposed to be very pretty blue colors, but because the sky was as dark as it was, as cloudy as it was, this is the color we ended up with, which is still gorgeous. Not complaining. Then after the Forget-Me-Not ponds, we did Elbow Falls Trail. It did kind of slow down with the rain a little bit. We did have rain jackets. We were very well equipped, but it did light up a little bit as far as the rain goes, which was really nice because this was also very stunning. As in case you can't tell, there's waterfalls everywhere. If you are a waterfall junkie, you need to go here. So this was Elbow Falls. And then day 5, tattoo day. I typically like to get tattoos anytime I go on a trip. I just love having that permanent reminder. They're usually small, nothing crazy, but I didn't the last time we went. We couldn't get an appointment. So on this day, we all booked this appointment with this fantastic gentleman. And one of the girls we were with had never been tattooed before. So really interesting experience. She handled it like a champ, and now we all have matching 3 sister tattoos. My foot is the one on the far right there. That's the other direction from everyone else's, which really bothered me, but my other foot has a cactus on that side, so I had no choice but to use my left leg instead of my right. Really unfortunate, but that's okay. Day 6, it snowed. This was the first day of summer, and it snowed. We could not believe that this was happening. It was supposed to be warm, and it was not. We had a reservation at the Iron Goat for lunch in Canmore. So this is supposed to be a lovely view of the Three Sisters from our table, of course, because it was snowing and also raining, like a rain-snow mix. The cloud cover was really low, and you can't really see them. We didn't end up seeing them at all. So we will be going back to that restaurant next time we go, but that's okay. And I had the Alberta beef burger with a flight of fantastic beer. So amazing. I mean, the snow did make for lovely photographs on the way back. And it's just one of those things. You know, you can't, especially Alberta and BC, other areas, other higher elevation areas got 2 feet of snow. So I will take this, and that's fine. We prepared. We knew the weather was going to be up and down. We had shorts. We had toques. That's a beanie for my American friends. We had mittens. We had rain jackets. We were prepared. So that was my Alberta trip for 2025. So obviously I didn't show everything because we would be here forever if I showed everything. And I also had to be very careful not to show faces of people I don't think would really appreciate being put on YouTube. So very slimmed down version of my trip, but it was funny because it was hot. It was 28 degrees Celsius there when we were packing our bags to go. And I was packed fully. My suitcase was fully packed. And then we looked at the weather and there was a shift. And I had to remove shorts, tank tops, all that fun stuff, and insert pants, long sleeve, hat, and mitts. No joke. So really bizarre how the weather just shifted so quickly. It actually ended up being 2 degrees Celsius on our last full day there. The day that it snowed, it was quite chilly. And the snow, everyone was like, oh, I'm sure it melted. Yes and no. It stayed on the cars, on the ground where the roads were. It was just wet, but like in garden areas and stuff like that, it stayed. And on higher elevations, there was 2 feet of snow. It was absolutely crazy. But while we were there, the day we went to Johnston Canyon, there was a rock slide, and people did not make it. People didn't survive, and that was kind of scary, and it really just put things into perspective. We were about 5 kilometers away from that rock slide, and that hike that they were on was an easy hike, which is what we tend to do, just because of all levels. You know, we want everyone that comes with us to be able to go on these hikes. So we do easy hikes. It very easily could have been us, and it was unpredictable. There was no way to predict it, and just an actual freak accident or an act of God or whatever. And when stuff like that happens, it's just like, it really, I mean, when it's your time, I guess. But what are you going to do? Stay in your house? Like, you can't do that. You take a risk getting in your car every day. But it did kind of jar me a little to know that we were right there, and those people were just on an easy hike looking at a waterfall. Like, just it's heavy. It's heavy to think about, but we were okay. We were there. I did have quite a few messages from people asking if we were okay, because friends and family knew that that's exactly where I was. But yeah, very tragic, very sad for the people that lost people and the people that were injured, but really just puts things into perspective. Books that I read in June. I read 6 books in June. Yes, finally had a good month. I listened to 4 and read 2 on my Kindle. So maybe that's why it was a good month, because I listened to so many, and with the trip, with being on an airplane and stuff like that, I had more time to listen. So I'll give a very brief spoiler-free synopsis, and I keep these synopses very brief because I personally like to go into books blind, and for anyone else who also likes to go in blind, just in case, I keep them incredibly brief. So the first one I listened to was Jeremy Renner's My Next Breath. This is his autobiography, and I listened to it because he narrates it himself. And I love it when autobiographers narrate their own books. So, loved it. I love that he narrated it. Let's fix that. I have some opinions about Jeremy Renner, and it's very strange because I don't know him. I've never met the man, and I always try to not form opinions of people I don't know. And celebrities fall under that rule. I don't know these people. Why am I forming opinions? However, I feel like some of those opinions were reinforced just by listening to how he talks about himself in this book. If you're a Jeremy Renner fan, I apologize, but it's just the vibe I get. But if you want to know about the accident that he had that almost took his life, he goes into detail about it. So really interesting read. I don't want to, again, say too much. I could talk about it more, but I'm not going to. So if you're a Jeremy Renner fan or if you're curious about his accident, dive in. I'm sure you'll like it. The next book I listened to was Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. So this has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I was kind of deciding what books I wanted to read, and I thought it's time to take something off the TBR. So this is what it was, and it's coming out with a stop motion movie. So I wanted to read the book before the movie comes out. I'm really going to keep this one brief. It's the main character. His name is Piranesi, and he lives in a house. It's a very fantasy-based book, just so you know. He lives in a massive house that has a lot of large hallways, and by a lot, I mean over 7,000 hallways. And these hallways are all different climates, different environments, very fantasy. And he doesn't really know why he's there or how he got there, but he is there with someone else called the Other, and the Other is a scientist who is researching something to do with the house, and Piranesi is his assistant, so to speak. So Piranesi kind of goes on these little side quests in the house, and that's all I'm going to say about it. If you have read this book, you understand why the movie has to be stop motion and not an actual CGI movie, because that would be so tricky. But I will say, this book, the whole time I was reading it, really reminded me of The Life of Pi. So I think if you're interested in something similar to The Life of Pi, you will like Piranesi. Also, it was pretty sad. I found it was a pretty sad novel. The next one is my book club book, which I read on the Kindle. A little bit of an update about the book club. So if you've been following me, you'll know that my book club a couple months ago decided to go full smut. They only wanted to read smut, which is not what I signed up for. But I stayed with them because I like the social aspect. You know, I like having to read a book and getting together and talking about it. It's really motivating and it's fun. I like it. So I did stay with them. However, there were other people in the book club that kind of felt the same way that I did about not always wanting to read a smutty book. So we literally split half and half. 6 people went one way and the other 6 people stayed the smut way. I went the other way, and we decided to do things a little differently. So the person who picks now we're going alphabetical order. You pick this week, the next alphabetical name picks the next month, whatever. The book that was chosen this month is The Push by Ashley Audrain. So this one, it is about a mother who becomes single and has a daughter who is a little bit troublesome. But is she troublesome, or is the mother just really suffering with postpartum depression? So I'm not going to say too much about it. Don't want to give it away. This is another one that I felt it was very sad. You really feel for the main character. At least I did. I missed the book club meeting because I was sick, so I wasn't able to discuss with everybody else where they were on that opinion, whether they empathized with her or if they thought she was losing it. Not sure. Missed that meeting because I was sick. So I read that one. The next one I read on the Kindle as well as Alice Feeney, Rock, Paper, Scissors. This was a TikTok made me do it. I'm trying not to say anything I don't want to say. So it's a married couple who's kind of, having some issues, and the wife wins a trip to this church in Scotland, and they kind of take it as their last ditch effort to repair their marriage. Although I don't believe that's communicated between the two of them, but the two of them are both looking at it that way, that it's a last ditch effort for their marriage, and it does not go well. This church is sketchy, very sketchy, and there's lots of twists in this. Maybe a little too many for my liking. That's all I'll say about that one. The next one I listened to is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is another TikTok made me do it. And TikTok also made me listen to this one on Audible. TikTok said it was the way to go with this book, and they were right. So there is a podcast element to this book, which is why it's so well done in Audible form or in audio form. I really liked this one. Not a favorite read, but it's kind of like a whodunit. This girl in her, I believe she's in her early 20s, her best friend is murdered, and she was present for it, stumbles out of the road with blood all over her, and she can't remember what happened. So the town a lot of them are of the belief that she did it, but they can't prove that she did it. So this podcaster comes in. He had a previous podcast where he actually solved a cold case. So he comes in and he's like, yeah, I'll give this one a go. And he starts uncovering some things. So liked that one. Definitely recommend the audio version of it. And lastly, we have Such Quiet Girls. I cannot pronounce this author's last name, so it's Noelle. This was another TikTok made me do it, kind of looking for a bit of a thriller. This is actually based on the true story of the kidnapping in 1976, I think, in Chowchilla. I'd never heard of this before, which is crazy because like 24 kids were abducted off a school bus. The book is a bit different. The book is based on the true story. It's not as many kids. The bus driver is female instead of male. They do change quite a few things, and I'm not going to get into it, but I did like it. I kind of wish it would have stayed a little more true to the true story, but that's just my personal preference. I like true crime, so that's just a me thing. But I did go and watch the YouTube documentary about it afterwards, so it was really cool to kind of compare what was kept accurate and what was changed, but a lot of it was changed. So those were the books that I read. I've already read one in the month of July, so doing good. And I don't know if anyone uses Fable. I also use Goodreads, but on the Fable app, you can track how many days in a row you've read. And I've read for 235 days in a row. So I'm wanting to go for 365. So we'll see how it goes. Summer's proving to be very difficult. My trip proved to be very difficult. There was a couple times where I was like, oh my God, I haven't read my book. And I had to get up and literally read a chapter just to say that I read my book that day. So almost didn't make it, but we'll see. I'm going away in a couple of weekends to a cottage, and I have that wedding where I'm going away. So I think it'll be rough. I don't know that I'll make it, but we'll try. We'll give it a go. Purchases for June. I did not buy a single crystal in the month of June. Again, that was because I was terrified I wasn't going to have enough money for my trip. But also, I didn't buy any decks. So, a really good month. I'm actually, when it comes to decks, I'm finding that I don't feel the desire to buy any. I don't know. I'm in this very meh headspace about tarot decks at the moment. I don't know why that is. Could be because it's summer. I find in the summer months my tarot practice really takes a nosedive, and then I come back alive in the fall and winter and spring, but I don't know. I also have like 4 decks on the way. One should be arriving any day now, and then 3, I think, from the Cracked Amethyst Kickstarter in August, probably more like September. So maybe because I know I have these 4 decks coming, that's kind of sitting in the back of my mind, and that's why I'm not feeling drawn to buy any new decks. I don't know. Either way, I'm not upset about it. I'm good for me. So I did, however, have crystals come in the month of June. So they were previous purchases. Some were from like the first week in May that just finally got shipped to me. So we will go over those, and we will also be going over my purchases that I made on my trip, which aren't as exciting as the crystals, but if you're nosy and you want to know what souvenirs I buy, it's in there. So I'll start with crystal deliveries. And I say that because my sister has sent me some crystals. She was home visiting in January and saw my crystal collection, and it sparked something inside her, and now she is also obsessed with crystals. And because where she lives, there's a ton of wholesale places you can go to buy crystals. She gets them for really, really cheap, and she sent them to me because it's crazy how cheap these crystals are. So to start, she decided to order some male god bodies, or male bodies, or god bodies, however you want to word it. And what she was given wasn't what she purchased. So the male bodies that she purchased were like god-like bodies. Like, we're talking wide chest with like chiseled pecs, chiseled abs, kind of like the legs are in a stance like this, where one leg is forward. And what she got was this. So this, one of the bodies she ordered for, one of them was what I just described as far as a male god body goes. The other three were these. So she just wanted to be inclusive. You know, she's got some goddess bodies, so she wanted to also represent some male bodies. And these came in, and we both kind of had a bit of a chuckle because they were not what was shown to her. This is very thin in here. The chiseled pecs are very square on the one that she was shown. This seems to have a little bit of a chest going on. But why I wanted this one, I told her I wanted this one so bad. See the banding that's like in a V? It reminds me of Borat. So I was like, this one is mine and I love it and I'm going to keep it forever. So yeah, we got these bizarre god bodies and we love them. She also gave me this Bumblebee Jasper bee. She loves Bumblebee Jasper and so do I. It's very expensive here though. So she got that bee as well as this sphere, this Bumblebee Jasper sphere for me, which I love. So cool. I have Bumblebee Jasper, a ring, I think, and a tumble. And like, that's it for Bumblebee Jasper for me. So love this. Super happy to have it for my collection. And she gets it for a great price. Fun fact about Bumblebee Jasper, it contains arsenic. So definitely do your research when getting crystals. Obviously, I'm handling it. This has been lacquered and polished, so it is safe. But if you crack open or if you have raw Bumblebee Jasper, it does contain arsenic. I'm sure it's such a minimal amount, but just be aware that crystals sometimes contain sketchy things. So, fun fact about Bumblebee Jasper. Next, we have one of my favorites. This lovely smoky quartz flame. She paid $24 US. The ones that had price tags on, I left because I just can't believe it. This would be $150 to $200 here, Canadian, for sure. So insane that she was able to get this for this price. And it's huge. It's not quite the size of my hand, but close enough. So really excited to have a big piece of smoky quartz. And the best one, the one that I actually picked this one out myself, she FaceTimed me while she was in the store. And I was like, that one's mine. You need to get that for me. This rose quartz flame. The colors, especially in here, it's so rich in pink. The quality is just insane. The banding is stunning, and the size, that is insane. How much do you think she paid for this? $22.75 American. Insane. And she's actually told me that she's been back to pick up more of these and they've gone up in price. And she just bought this 2-3 months ago, maybe. So they are going up in price. Really glad I got it for the $22.75. I think she said they're still only about $30, $35, but they're starting to go up. So insanely happy that she got this piece for me and sent it to me in the mail, which cost her a pretty penny. So those were the crystals that I was gifted from my sister. Now, I imagine I will probably have to pay her back at some point. But again, I'm only paying for a fraction of what I'd be paying here. It's absolutely crazy. So the crystals that came in that I purchased, they're minimal. But we have some. These were purchased a while ago and they just came in now. So we have some crystal drip bags, which you get when you spend, I think it's over $77, but I actually purchased some extra ones because in these crystal drip bags, these are like upgraded crystal drip baggies. They came with some insane stuff. So typically in a crystal drip bag, you'll get a tumble, which I did get in one of them. So I got a tourmalated quartz tumble. So it's a fairly dark one. Not sure if the camera is even picking up the quartz at all. It looks really dark on camera. But so that's normal. You usually get 2 tumbles, but then the upgraded ones have more fun things. So they have like confetti stars. So that is a aventurine. We have a lepidolite, however you want to call it, and a sodalite star. And we got this lovely number. I'm not sure if this is a Lemurian or not. Let's get that angle. It might be. I don't know. Either way, it's a stunning piece. Love it so much. Very cool looking. So that came in one of those bags. And then I'm pretty sure this is lepidolite, worry stone. And this is so soothing. It is a howlite worry stone in the shape of a heart. And that divot is the perfect depth. It's very relaxing. So love this guy. So that's my crystal drip bags. So nothing crazy there. I purchased 2 and got 1 with my order, I believe. Might have to double check that. Next, let's get into what I actually bought. Well, I guess I did actually buy some of those. We have my first ever Septarian piece. This does UV. I don't know if it'll cooperate. Kind of. It's these dark pieces here that UV. So you can see they change color, but maybe I'll have to splice in a photo. But Septarian has never been something that spoke to me. So I don't know. It's just not something I've ever wanted. But this little guy was so cute. I saw it and I was like, that's adorable. I'm going to get that little one. So I finally have a Septarian piece. Then we have, this is a pre-night heart, and I purchased it because it's a little wonky. It was obviously marked down because of that chunk out of it. I think it's natural. They still decided to go ahead and polish it. I don't think it chipped during the polishing process because you can see there's like bubbles inside. It's kind of bubbly looking, still pretty raw looking on the inside. But yeah, it was marked down. There is some lovely flash right here, but I couldn't leave it. I was like, that needs a home. No one wanted it, so I went for it. Then I got a heart bag of hearts. So these are all from Equilibrio Gems, by the way. I'm starting to forget to say that. She had a special on with these guys. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. The 15 of them in that baggie. Can't remember how much I paid, but there was kind of supposed to be a lot going on, but there seems to be a lot of the same. So we have 1 clear quartz and 1 tiger's eye, and then several moss agate, which is fine. We love a moss agate. Not sure what this, oh, yep, that one is OJ. So we've got our moss agate over here. And then we have OJ. So the ones I know for sure are OJ, are these 4. Then we have some mystery ones. I shone my flashlight through them and they're not see-through. So I have no idea what these 2 are. This one looks black, but I assure you it's not. And then we have these which kind of look like larvacite because there's flashy pieces in them, maybe. So I'm thinking maybe these last 2 are larvacite with some little flashy bits. So these were fun, really cute heart babies. Then I'm gonna need a light for this. I haven't even seen these in the light. I opened them and they did not cooperate. Some of these are gonna be gifts, so hopefully the people I bought them for aren't gonna be watching. I haven't decided which ones are gonna be gifts and which ones are gonna be the ones I keep, so, oh no, it doesn't even do it with the flashlight. All right, well, I'm gonna have to insert some sunny pictures for these ones because they don't work. But we have some rainbow obsidian pieces. They've got gunk on them from the stickers, so I don't love that. But rainbow obsidian, they're not the best quality. There's definitely higher quality rainbow obsidian out there, but I don't have any. I think I have a tumble perhaps, and a palm stone that's probably smaller than this, not sure, but it's even worse quality than these ones. So at least one of these is going to be a gift, if not more. I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, hopefully those people aren't watching, but these went like hotcakes on the Instagram live sale. They went like crazy. People were going nuts for these. And the last crystal additions that arrived in the month of June. Now, keep in mind, some of these were purchased the first week of May. So they've been waiting for a long time to arrive. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Okay, we'll start with the lowest quality. So I got these little eggies. Now I bought these with a purpose. I did order 2 of the rose quartz and I only got 1, but they were $1, so it doesn't matter. You can see the quality is really low. So there's rose quartz, which is way more pink in person, and then a clear quartz. I had a little basket that I was going to put these in for Easter, but I don't like that there's an even number. There was supposed to be 3, but whatever. Like I said, they were on sale. They were on clearance for $1. Not a big deal. I'm not going to make a scene out of it. The next thing I got was just some clear quartz points. This one has some wicked rainbows in it. Don't know, like I can see them by looking at it, but on camera I don't see them at all, which is really strange. But this one is full of rainbows. It's kind of a little baby double point, very pretty, but I almost feel like they didn't finish polishing it. Kind of weird, but really, really pretty. I did have a specific use for these in mind, and I can't remember what that was. It happens. It'll come back to me. Then we have this obsidian, I guess, point. This is really good for grids. This was on clearance for $5 because they were chipped. A lot of the tips had chips in them. This one does not have a chip in the tip. I always say tip in the chip, but it does have some little gouges out of the sides, just little tiny guys. Don't so much mind about that. As long as the tip is intact, I'm fine with that. But these are great for making crystal grids, so that's why I wanted that one. Then we have this stunning petrified wood tower. These purples are beautiful. Just had to grab this one. You can see the goo from the sticker, which makes me feel a little rage, but that's fine. I love that it's like beige on this side, and then we get into like really pretty purples and reds on this side. Kind of looks like some quartz up here. Really pretty. Then I got 2 of these. This is glass. It is not a crystal. They are crackle glass. There's lots of rainbows in the little guy. They're just so pretty. I find this color to be incredibly soothing. This one doesn't have as many rainbows. There are some, but not as many. This one I bought to go along with one of these lights. So let's plug her in. I don't know, because we have outdoor light coming in, I don't know if it will work as well. Now the tower is just like, it doesn't even cover. As you can see, I'm trying to strategically place it. It just makes it a really pretty like night light, and the sides make it look like water at nighttime on the walls. So that's why I got this, and I just loved this color. I just thought it was so gorgeous and soothing. So that'll go on the nightstand. Just really pretty, really soft, pretty color. And I finally got my white light, because if you recall, a couple months ago I did order one of those, but it was supposed to be white and it came in color. I also got a little angel light tower, super cute, just a little cute little guy, which also has sticker goo. So I have a little blue display, so it's gonna go on my little blue section. I got this stunning OJ heart. This is gorgeous. So OJ being ocean jasper, I just love the colors of this. I love the little Orbeez. It's just so beautiful. It's on sale as well. And then this was a wish list item. This was a crystal bucket list item. It's a piece of quartz that is in hydro, which means there's water in it. So they've actually circled where the water is in blue marker. I don't know if I'll be able to I'm sure I can get that off, but I don't know if I want to, because I'm afraid I'll lose where it is, because it is super, super tiny. You can't actually see the water, but what you can see is these little pieces of sediment. I've recorded a video so you can see it better, because you won't be able to see it on this camera from this angle. But you can see the piece of sediment moving up and down. So you don't necessarily see the water, but you know there's water in it because that piece of sediment is moving around. So like I said, this was a bucket list item for me as far as crystal collecting goes. Not the greatest quality, but if it was a better quality, that would be reflected in the price. So I'm fine with my little itty bitty guy here. For now, I'm going to leave the marker on it, and it'll go in my cabinet. It'll be a cabinet piece. And then lastly, we got a baggie of mica slabs. I mean, they're so thin, I don't know if you can call them slabs. I have no idea where I'm going to store these. Like, some of them are like paper thin. Like, this will snap very, very easily. So it was just a pack. You didn't get a choice of your pack. You can see some of them have pieces coming off already. This one's a bit thicker. I have a little more faith in this one. You can kind of see the beveled edge a little bit thicker, but I do have a specific use in mind for these. Oh, this one's quite thick. And that'll be outlined in my crystal, how I work with crystals video that I'm afraid. Yeah, like, see how the pieces just peel off with mica. They'll be outlined in my how I work with crystals video. Oh, it was under that little shelf in there. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to store these and how I'm going to protect them, especially the really thin pieces. But yeah, that's mica. Really cool, really reflective. You can see my camera up there. And is that it? That's it for all the crystals I got in the month of June. Like I said, these were ordered the first week of May. So they had my open box for a long time. And I actually thought they would have shipped it out long before they did. I had to message them and say, hey, can you ship my box for me, please? So that's it for crystals. And then, just as a side note, I had to show this. I love Crocs. I absolutely love Crocs. The shoes. Oh, you can see the mica has left sparkles all over my fingers. And I saw that they had a gibbet that was a tarot card. Are you kidding me? So I had to get this. I absolutely had to get it. So it's an official Crocs gibbet. It is metal and it is large. I was not expecting it to be this large. I was honestly kind of expecting it to be like maybe 2/3 the size of this. So a little unsure of where I'm going to put this, because I feel like Crocs bend. They're very bendy shoes. So don't know. I'll probably show you guys what I end up doing with this one or where I end up putting it, but had to. How could you not? How could you not get a tarot card gibbet for your Crocs? Purchases I made on my trip. So one of my favorite things that I bought is this rock. So there's something on the other side, but I wanted to show you this first. It's a piece of rock. I'm not sure what kind of rock. I'm sure it's something specific because it does kind of rub off on your fingers a little bit. But this artist sands this down and it kind of develops a little bit of a paste when he sands it with water. And then he creates art with that paste. And it all has to be done before that paste dries, which is in 1 to 2 minutes. So this is the art that he created on this piece, and there's actually a video of him creating it. So he uses the 320 grit sandpaper to rub it all down and get that kind of paste, and then he uses the sandpaper. He'll draw, like, I don't know if it's pastels or chalk to get the color in. He just does like little ticks, and then he uses the sandpaper to draw all of this on here. This price point was fantastic for a artistic piece, and it's a rock. We all know I love rocks. So this was really interesting and really neat. The artist is, oh gosh, I cannot read that, but fantastic. I'll see if I can input his business card, which I've put with my memorabilia. So love this. The other weird one-off thing I bought, I walked into a clothing store and they had what I thought was a candle burning, and it smelled so good. It kind of smelled like sandalwood, and I love the smell of sandalwood. So I started asking them about it. They had the candles. The candles were like 40 to 50 bucks. I'm like, oh, it's kind of steep for a candle. Then she said, well, we have the oil and reeds that lasts way longer for the same price. So it's this liquid. I don't want to tilt it too much in case it leaks. Something About Her was the name of the store, but it's called House of Hecate, and it is in BC. We are upside down. British Columbia. Well, we were partly upside down because that one, Aromatique d'Ambiance. Bowen Island. And the website. So, pink pepper, amber, eucalyptus. It smells so good. This was tricky to get into my bag because 5 ounces is more than 100 milliliters, and we only had carry-ons, and that's all we're allowed to have in our carry-ons. So it came with the reeds. They're just wrapped up. Very excited about that, and the fact that it was House of Hecate, I was like, pardon? That's meant for me. The other thing I purchased, this was in a garden center, and such a random buy, but I couldn't let it go. This snake, it's a pot hanger. So his tail, if this is the pot, his tail hooks onto the pot and he hangs on your pot. Love him. So he's going to go on my plant. Fantastic little snake. Again, kind of random, but you know, when you see something you haven't seen before, you really want to. Now, if you know me, and when I travel, I love to buy stickers from where I travel. And this time was no different. So you're about to be spammed with stickers and magnets and other kinds of similar memorabilia. If that's not your jam, I totally get it. I'm going to try and go through them really quickly. We have this beaver because it's a beaver. We have this Canadian Rockies sticker. This is the exact same color as my Yeti cooler, this like turquoisey color. So that's why I got that one. We have, now this might look familiar because I bought this in sticker form the last time I went in September of 2024. This is a magnet of the Three Sisters. I'm obsessed with the Three Sisters Mountains in Canmore, Alberta. Love this. So I like to collect magnets as well. On my work desk, my in-office desk, I have a metal cabinet, and I ask, anytime my friends go somewhere, I ask them to get me a magnet. Anytime I go somewhere, I get a magnet. So we have that magnet, and we have this one. So that's what they look like non-cartoon form, the Three Sisters. This was a free magnet that was at one of the centers we went to when we were bear hunting, trying to find bears. We have this. Now, there's a handful of these that are going to have a specific purpose. So I'm trying to like, actually this one maybe also. I'm trying to keep them in piles. Okay. And because I love this one so much, it needed two. May the forest be with you. So one of these is going on a water bottle for sure. I just couldn't decide if this was too big for a water bottle. So I also got the small one. Not sure. So the mountains, mobile calling, Banff, Canada. Love this one. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Not entirely sure what's happening with that one. This also was just so pretty. This will probably be a water bottle or a, because it's kind of, it goes well with that color, so maybe a cooler. This is definitely going to be my Yeti cooler. So right now, my Yeti cooler that's that color, I've kind of accidentally created a black and white sticker theme. So this is just a black and white sticker to represent Alberta and Banff. So it's going on that cooler. This is where we had a shopping day here. So this also has a specific purpose going in this pile. We have this lovely bear, huge, specific purpose. And shocker, we have yet again the three sisters, specific purpose. This one was just really pretty. Not sure where this one's going. I could see this being like a cover page for a journal or a notebook. Love that one. So not entirely sure where that one's going. Oh, I forgot about a magnet. So Johnston Canyon to honor our hike. Love this. It's gonna go with my other magnets at work. And then because I have to, I also got that in a sticker. This will probably, not sure, probably. But then we also have these two. These have a specific purpose different from every other one. So my sister and I have decided that every time we go to a national park, we're going to purchase a national park sticker. And then we're going to put them on a piece of paper and frame that piece of paper. So I'm kind of trying to decide if I want to keep the Canadian one separate from the American one and have one poster of the Canadian national parks and another poster of the American national parks. So I haven't done this yet because I can't decide. I'm leaning towards keeping Canada and the States separate, but not sure. So, and I'm not sure, again, I bought two of them because depending on placement and fitting, one might work better than the other. So there's two of those for that. And some of these, no, not really. I was going to say some of the other ones could go, but I don't really have a national park sticker in any of them. So they have a purpose. These are my, even he could maybe be my visual journal. So this year I have been keeping a visual journal where I keep memorabilia. I print off photos on my little Sprocket printer, and every month I fill it out with a physical visual journal. It's not, there's no writing, not really, some little bits, little tags, little markers, but it's just memorabilia and images. So these are all they're going to go in that journal. Now the problem is the journal is tiny. It's I can never remember the size of it. It's an A6, whatever an A6 is. So like this bear will take up a lot of room on one page of that A6. Same with this one. This will take up a lot of room on that A6, but you know, they're representations of the things that we did, the places that we went on our trip. The Banff, Canada. No, not a national park sticker. I don't know if I have. I might have got one the last time I went. Anyway, so those are stickers. And then I bought a postcard. This is the boss. He is a grizzly bear that's roamed the area for, I think, 27 years. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 27 years. He's a famous bear. They see him all the time. He's known because he's got a chunk out of his ear. He's fathered many babies. He recently had a bit of a run-in with a train. He got, I heard, clipped by a train, but then I heard he was unscathed. So I don't know. He's alive. Long story short, he's alive. The female that he was with sadly did not make it. They were actually mating on the train tracks, and two females ended up getting killed this day, and it's really sad. But he survived, and we hadn't seen a bear up to this point, so I kind of bought this postcard as my fine. I will buy a bear. If I'm not going to see one, I will buy a picture of one. So that's I think that's everything. Oh no, it's not. I bought this bracelet. I bought this abalone bracelet at Johnston Canyon. It was made in the Philippines, so I mean, it doesn't have any special tie to Johnston Canyon at all, other than the fact that that's where I bought it. But it was really pretty, so I bought it. And that's it. I do have, like, I always grab these kinds of things when I go places because, again, junk journaling, memorabilia journaling. So we went to Bride Creek one of the days, so I'll probably just cut that out and put that in the visual journal. I grabbed some magazines, so I grabbed this. Again, just, I don't know if I'll find anything in here to cut out and put in there, but I'll take a look. And calendar, I bought a 2026 calendar. Yes, I'm prepared. But the reason I bought this was because I tried to buy a Canadian Rockies 2026 landscapes calendar by a Canadian artist for 2025, and I couldn't find one. So here we have this, and if you're interested, that's what all the months are. So I've seen Mount Rundle. This is on the gondola. I've been there. Been to Lake Minnewanka. I can't remember if we went to Two Jack Lake. Have not been to Peyto, but that's on the list. We've been to Lake Louise. Moraine is on the list. And of course, there's my Three Sisters. So why are the Three Sisters so important to me? I just love the look of them. They're an iconic look when you're on the highway, when you're on Highway 1. Absolutely iconic. But there's just something about them that I cannot get enough of. Clearly, I take pictures of them every time we drive by them. I just can't get enough of them. So this time my friends and I decided to all get matching Three Sisters tattoos. So that's kind of another reason why I have this crazy Three Sisters obsession now more than ever, because we have these on our bodies, and it's an experience and a memory that we will all share forever. The one girl that was with us, it was her first ever tattoo, and she's in her 60s. So that's insane. She was a champ. She handled it so well. But yeah. Last thing I want to show you. I've talked about this before. I can't show the front because it has my address on it and I'm ill prepared. But I joined a postcard club earlier this year. This is June's postcard club. It came late. It came while I was away. Usually it's here by the first or second week of the month, and it came while I was away. So I get home and here's the postcard. Lovely. It's a local Peterborough artist. Away Designs. But there's always a couple extra things in it. And she started putting in quotes. And this was the quote for June. This is crazy to me. June is spending time with best friends, heading to the mountains, soaking up the sun after a long stretch of gloomy days, watching the sunrise, going to art markets, seeing flowers in full bloom, little joys, the June postcard. So I had my girls' weekend this month, the beginning of this month, the 6th and 7th, spending time with best friends. Also, my trip was spending time with best friends. Heading to the mountains. There aren't any mountains in my province. I mean, there are large hills, but I wouldn't call them mountains. I actually went to the mountains, soaking up the sun after a long stretch of gloomy days. I mean, that's June in a nutshell. Watching the sunrise, did that. Going to art markets, did that. This was just insane. This was insane to me, but more specifically the part about the friends and the mountains. So, and then I also got my membership card. Oh, the club rules. That's cute. Believe in yourself, spend time outdoors, enjoy the moment, be kind to the earth and to each other. Love that. So that'll also be going in the memorabilia journal. I've been putting these in the memorabilia journal, and sometimes these come with stickers. Like every 3 months you get an extra sticker. I love this postcard, by the way. It's probably my favorite one so far. Sometimes you get stickers, so they go in my memorabilia journal as well, my visual journal. But I had to share that little quote about June because it was so bizarre to me. That's all my things, guys. Whew, we made it. In the tarot practice, which was almost non-existent for the month of June. Again, something happens to me in the summer where like you're busy, even though like I always read before bed anyway, so it's not like I'm busy up until the point my head hits the pillow, but I don't know, something just happens in summer, and it's not as often as I would like. So I did use some decks this month, and I will talk about those. But yeah, it wasn't a very heavy tarot month. So let's get into that portion. Decks I worked with in June. As I mentioned, I worked with the Millennial Tarot when I went on my girls' weekend. And I was really looking forward to working with this deck with my friends because of the nature of this deck, the millennial theme that it has. I thought my friends would love it. I thought it would be super cute to work with them. Turns out they didn't even see it, because where I was reading the tarot cards was kind of like, it was on a patio table, and the patio furniture that we were sitting on was lower, so they couldn't really see the cards. I did read out the millennial keywords that were on it, so like the lockdown, work bestie, who run the world, generational wealth. I did read those to them, and they kind of seemed to like them. They were vibing with it, but it just didn't land. And on top of that, I had a terrible experience working with this deck with them. Like, I like to work with jumpers, and that's not how I started my tarot journey. Previously I would shuffle, and then I would cut, and then take these ones. And that just, I don't read that way anymore. So this deck, I hate the cardstock. I learned that I absolutely hate the cardstock. And I've worked with this deck before, not a lot. Oh, look, we got a jumper. But as I was shuffling, like, multiple cards came out of that jumper, which I don't like. I like them to be one, maybe two at a time. But as I was working with it, I was like, I'm not having fun. And I was getting increasingly frustrated with the shuffling of this deck, to the point where I was like, I hate this. And I don't like to use the word hate. It's a very strong word. It's a very, it can be a little too much, but I was not having a good time. And the more I tried shuffling the deck with them, the more I was just like, no. So, although I did say before, I'm not getting rid of this deck, I think I'm going to get rid of it because it's just too clumpy, too chunky. The cardstock doesn't work with how I like to work with decks. It doesn't work with me well. And I don't know, I was just really not happy with it. And like I said, I was becoming increasingly more and more frustrated, and I found it was affecting my reading. And because of that, I think it might be time to say goodbye. I don't even think I've had this deck a year. I think I got it in November of 2024. So it just made me feel quite literal rage. So it's definitely going in the purgatory bin, but it might be time to say goodbye to the Millennial Tarot. Now, my regular tarot practice took quite a hit in the month of June. I hardly read any cards at all. I did switch up my Monday morning card pull to the Seasons of the Witch Beltane. I don't have the Litha. What's the one after Litha? I don't think I have that one either. So this is kind of like the only summer version I have, which it has bees in it, which is why I bought this one. So pretty summery. So this was my week ahead card pull, which I enjoyed. Might still use it for another couple of weeks because I don't have any of the other summer ones, but I enjoyed it. It's cool for a Monday morning week ahead message. Do I feel it was accurate? A couple times, yeah, probably, but nothing overly mind-blowing. So that was my Monday morning card pull for my week ahead message. Like I said, I probably will hold on to it for another couple of weeks because I don't have any of the other ones and I don't plan on getting them. I'm not going to be collecting all of them, which might be a problem when the tarot decks come out, because I think the tarot decks are meant to be used in conjunction with these decks. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel the need to get them all. And then the tarot deck I used for myself this month, I forgot to pack a tarot deck to my Alberta trip. And this was the deck I was going to bring. The tin version of the Gentle Tarot. Now I know that this is Alaska, but it does give me Alberta vibes. You know, those northern vibes. This one I have trouble shuffling as well because you can't riffle them, but you do get jumpers. And it's one. Yay! So because I forgot to bring it on my trip, which I was so bummed about because I thought it would be a perfect bonding experience. I thought it would be the perfect setting to use it in. I decided to use it when I got home. This deck has been an unsure one for me. I haven't connected with it and haven't really bonded with it. I've talked about how I have to have my sticky note cheat sheet on the tin because I don't use it enough. So I was really looking forward to using it when I went away, but because I forgot, I was like, you know what? I'm going to show it some love right now. So this was the deck that I've been using for myself for the month of June, and it wasn't often. Like I said, my tarot practice took a hit in the month of June, but it wasn't often, but it was often enough for me to decide I really like it, which was a shocker. There was a time where I considered rehoming. Oh, a grizzly bear. Perfect. There was a time where I considered rehoming this deck, and now I am not. I just love it. It worked out great. I love the size. I love how it feels. Is that 2? And it does feel Alberta to me, even though it's not. I know. We saw a fox while we were away. So this is the one I've been working with, and I love it. And I think it's really cute. And I still, you know, sometimes I second guess myself and I still do have to check my little cheat sheet. But I'm really glad that I did decide to use it when I got home. And maybe, you know, using it after that trip helped me connect with it. I do think it would have helped more had I done it on the trip. But, you know, stuff and things happen. What's going on here? And this deck does feel summery with the colors. It does feel like a good deck to use for summer, especially the beginning part of summer, maybe not in the heat of summer. But I have, it did give me the feels I wanted out of an early summer deck. So that was an excellent choice in that regard, I think, as well. I will be moving on from this deck though. There's a couple other decks that I have that are more heat of summer. I might leave this one out though, just because I don't think I'm done with it. I don't think I am ready to put it away at the moment. But I did really enjoy it, and I'm really glad that I did not put it in purgatory, even though my decks sit in purgatory for a very long time before I actually decide to get rid of them, because the last thing I would want is to get rid of one and then majorly regret it. So yeah, it didn't even make it to the purgatory bin. It was just thinking about putting it in the purgatory bin, and I'm glad I didn't. So that was the tarot deck I used literally a handful of times in the month of June. And that's it for my tarot practice. Like I said, pretty bleak in that department. And that is June 2025, friends. So I will leave you with my moon tray for the month of July. And if you're not into that, that's cool. And thanks for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Moon tray. So in case we forgot, this is the situation I had going on for June, which I kind of tried to do a sunrise situation. Loved it. I love these colors all together. Beautiful, but it is time to switch it up for July. So I Googled colors for July and a couple things came up. There's a couple things I want to try. Don't know if they're going to work. I don't know if I have enough. So I will reset it and we will figure it out and see how it looks. Okay, so the colorway I was trying to go for here is coral and yellow, but I didn't have enough of either of them. So we've got these 3 pieces of cotton candy agate, which are very coral in my opinion. And then we've got some yellow pieces that I kept in here from before, but I don't have a lot of yellow. So that was the problem. I added this agate, which is coming up more like a dirty green on camera. It is more yellow in person, but when you put it in there, it looks like baby poo green, and that's not how it looks in person, just so you know. But because I didn't have enough, I started playing around with some purples, and I didn't want it to be amethyst purple because that was very similar to what I had for June. So I put some Botswana agate in here, and we've got the grape agate, and we have a couple pieces of lab. These are like purple flash lab, but they kind of just look like a light purple gray when they're not flashing. This one might be, yeah, this one's an orangey rainbow kind of flash. Very pretty. I don't know how much I love those. I have a little piece of sunstone to try and get the coral. Some flower agate here. I thought there was another flower agate. Nope. I added another piece of citrine and chalcedony. So I don't know if I love this. The other colorway I was thinking about was yellow and purple, but that's very sunsetty, which I just did. So I want to sit with this for a little bit and see how I feel about it. It's not what I had envisioned. As we learn, this happens every month, but maybe partway through the month, I'll end up switching it to the yellow and purple. But just getting away from the yellow purple for the first few weeks of July will maybe make me feel okay with adding in the yellow purple later on in the month. But I really want to save yellows and oranges and reds for August, because I feel like August is a very hot month. It's very Leo. So not quite ready to do the full reds, orange, yellow for summer just yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I don't love this. It's probably my least favorite one that I've done. But Botswana agate, come on. It's so pretty. The purples and pinks in it are, of course, not being picked up by the camera, but they're just so gorgeous. Botswana agate is really good for addiction, if you're having addiction issues. So a little tidbit there for you. So yeah, like I said, I don't think I love it. I wish I had more yellow. You know, maybe next time I go to a metaphysical shop, I'll pick up more yellow tumble kind of things, but oh well, can't all be perfect.